It's been a long journey for the 25-year-old Temba Bavuma. This week, the cricketer became the first black African to score a test century for his country. On MatchPoint, tonight we look at Bavuma's success story. Well, hello and a very warm welcome to MatchPoint this week. This is the program here on CCTV Africa that brings you fresh perspectives on both African and global sport. I'm Mahia Mutwa. Here's what we have for you tonight. We look at the highs and lows of the 2016 CAF African Footballer of the Year Awards. And organizers announced the route for this year's Tour of Spain. Well, let's begin in Zimbabwe, where the national football team are hoping to make it a fourth time lucky when they head off to Rwanda for the African Nations Championships, or CHAN. The Warriors have played at all previous tournaments and are hoping to better their fourth place finish in 2014.
The Warriors have been in camp for the last 2 weeks, and bar a few niggling injuries, everything else seems to be on course as the focus now shifts on getting the players mentally prepared.
Remember, a tournament is different from playing one game. A tournament, you play so many games, and we need that team maybe to have that mentality of winning, playing defensively, playing offensively, then also defending free kicks or even attacking free kicks. We need to train all that.
Well, as these players go through their final paces, there's a renewed sense of optimism in the camp. A new administration at Zifa House has promised to make this Warriors team the best prepared ever to take part at the CHAN competition. Previous campaigns have been marred by financial and administrative problems, but this time round the Philip Chiangwa-led Football Association has mobilized funding to fully cover the camp.
I think the allowances to allow daily allowances which are being given to the players is something which motivates them, and I think they've done their part, and it's good to us is taking our team and the players to respond back to them doing a good job.
The coach, though, would have loved a pre-tournament friendly to cap the preparations.
To some of these players, if you see them training here, they will possess a quality of goodness in them. But again, when you put them in a match, he will be a different player. So that's the kind of character that we wanted to see before we play a match.
Zimbabwe opens its account on January the 19th in a Southern African derby against neighbor Zambia. They will face Mali and Uganda in the other group games. Farai CCTV, Harare, Zimbabwe.
Right now, turning to cricket and our top story tonight, it has taken South Africa over 2 decades to produce its first black African centurion. Temba Bavuma, who carved up England in Cape Town, is the man who achieved the feat that many have seen as a small victory for transformation in the country's sporting landscape and for this determined stroke player from humble beginnings. His 100 was a dream come true and something he will cherish for the rest of his life, as CS Du Plessis now reports.
Temba Bavuma's name will be forever written in the annals of South African cricket history. The first black African to score a Test 100 for his country will be remembered for his tenacious and flowing 100 in the second Test against England at Newlands. But for the 25-year-old, his cricket career started in Cape Town's oldest township, Langa, just 10 minutes drive from the famous ground where he carved his name into the history books.
This is home. These are my roots. Out there, you know, that's where all everything began. That's where the passion started. That's where the passion was fueled. And you know, it's a place where I enjoy coming back to. You know, just to reminiscing, you know, of all those moments as a young kid. You know, watching from the sideline, watching our older guys, and also, you know, growing up here. You know, but yeah, this is where it all began, and this is where I'm grateful for everything that I have.
The man who plies his trade for the Lions in Johannesburg says his life has changed considerably since the century just under a week ago.
The last 4 days, you know, things have been quite hectic. You know, things have been very different, exciting. Exciting to see the kind of attention, you know, and acknowledgement that I've been receiving from people. It's quite humbling. It's also a scary prospect as well. You know, you hear people, they say congratulations, but then they say now we want more, so there's that added pressure and expectation from the people. I've come to the realization, of the significance of my presence there in the national side, to all the other million people here in South Africa. So yeah, things have changed, and I'm day by day, trying to find a way to keep up with everything.
For Bavuma, representing his country is the ultimate, and at 5'3", he says size doesn't really matter to him.
It's very hard for me to give an opinion, on my stature, because I've always been short. I've never been tall, so I don't know how it is from an average size or from a tall person's point of view. So the way the ball comes to me, for me, it's natural, it's normal for me.
The lad from Langa has rewritten the South African cricket history books. He's now set his sights on more centuries for his country and hopes to inspire many other kids from disadvantaged areas around South Africa to take up the sport and one day represent the Proteas. CS Du Plessis, CCTV, Langa, Cape Town.
And right now, joining us to give us more perspective on this story is Aslam Kota, a cricket analyst with SABC Sport and commentator with Radio 2000. He joins us from Johannesburg in South Africa. Aslam, just tell us, how significant is Bavuma's milestone?
Good evening. Indeed, very, very important, because he's the first black South African, as you've heard, and it was certainly time to celebrate. And as you've heard and seen in that insert, it is a red letter day for South Africans in general, and also for the black community. In only his 7th test match, he has scored this 100, and it was almost against the run of play, so to speak, because it was least expected. But he's proved many of the detractors of the transformation system in South Africa wrong.
Now, Aslam, obviously a day to celebrate for South African cricket.
Hello,
but it did take 127 years for this to happen. Why has it taken this long?
Well, let's just say that we know the apartheid system was pretty much a stranglehold around the whole country. And sport was obviously isolated more so from the middle 60s right up to 1991, 92, when Nelson Mandela was released and the ANC was unbanned. So it has taken 21 years in the making to get a black batsman to come in and play for South Africa. He is the first black batsman that's picked as a specialist. And as I said, in only his 7th test match, he scored the 100. He has followed the likes of Makaya Ntini, Mfoneko Ngam, Tami Tsolekile, and also Monde Zondeki, most of them bowlers, the one a wicket-keeper. So the transformation system has obviously been in place, but the quotas were the targets that Cricket South Africa were looking for. And now that more prominence and more importance has been given towards black Africans, more especially amongst the batsmen and good spinners, we've seen Temba come through the ranks and has proven himself. Earlier, he scored 100 in his first season playing provincial cricket in South Africa for the Lions. He then was picked, as they were fast-tracking him, he was then picked against England Lions. He scored 100 against them. He scored a massive 100 against Australia A. So he's shown that when it matters, he can deliver the goods. And now he's done it in a test match. What more can you ask for? And as we've seen in that insert, I mean, there's hope that he's going to do a lot more. You talk about 100 and plenty years. I must say that in at the turn of the century and just between the two wars, there was a gentleman by the name of Frank Hocho, who was also just over 5 foot or he was 5 foot 3 inches in height. He scored 100 hundreds in South Africa. But those kind of histories were unknown to people in South Africa and around the world. Temba Bavuma's coming to light will now bring to the fore what the true history of cricket in South Africa is.
All right, this one will indeed go into the history books. Thank you very much for joining us there. That was Aslam Kota, cricket analyst with SABC Sport and commentator with Radio 2000, joining us from Johannesburg, South Africa. Well, it's time for us to take a quick break here on MatchPoint. Here's what's coming up. We look at the highs and lows of the 2016 Confederation of African Footballer of the Year Awards. Turning to football news now, Côte d'Ivoire captain Yaya Touré has blasted the decision not to award him the CAF African Footballer of the Year award after he lost out to Gabon's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in Abuja on Thursday. The Manchester City midfielder, who captained the Elephants to Africa Cup of Nations success last year, labelled the decision a shame to Africa after coming second to the Borussia Dortmund star. Aubameyang received 143 votes to the four-time winner's 136 to become the first player from the Central African nation to win the award. The accolade comes despite a year without trophy success for both club and country. He was Gabon captain as the team was eliminated in the first round of the African Nations Cup finals last year, and his club finished 7th in the Bundesliga last season. However, he did score 29 league goals last year, including 18 so far this season, plus a further 7 in the Europa League. Swansea's Andre Ayew came third.
You know, when next to you there are players like Yaya Touré and Andre Ayew, it is a proud moment to win this trophy in front of them, because they are great players and I have a lot of admiration for them.
Quite disappointed, but I don't want to complain too much. You know what I mean. I just want to give you credit as well to Bavuma. You've been doing brilliantly well this year, and Andre Ayew as well is quite a little bit disappointed as well. You know, and yeah, what we have to do, I think, from now, we just have to play football to play and try to do our best and expect nothing from nobody.
Right now, for more on this, we're now joined by Solomon Ajuziogo, a sports analyst joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. Solomon, obviously a big year for Aubameyang at Dortmund and for Gabon. The question is, did he deserve the award?
Well, it's a lot of question by a lot of people down here. Maybe the relief is that it didn't go to Yaya Touré this time, and then Yaya Touré had to complain, probably because he has gotten so used to winning the award 4 times consecutively. A 5th time would have been a huge record for him. But his complaint, is it justified? Does Aubameyang, Pierre-Emerick deserve to win it? Well, that's a lot of question that depending on which side or which argument you advance for it, actually. Because first, the question is, Aubameyang didn't win anything. What was his achievement other than scoring 39 goals in 2015 for his club, Borussia Dortmund? What trophy did he win, actually? What significant achievement does he have for 2015? I don't remember anyone. Yaya Touré won the Nations Cup, the golden era, the golden age of Ivorian footballers. Yaya Touré won that and inspired the Ivorian team to win that at the beginning of 2015. Andre Ayew got to the final of the same tournament. So maybe they have a good case. But then maybe the modality for voting is something we also need to look at. The CAF keeps changing the goalpost every year, and that leads to a lot of controversy.
So, in fact, Solomon, should Yaya Touré have won it? After all, he did captain his team to the African Nations Cup, while Aubameyang, as you said, did not win any trophies with either Gabon or Dortmund.
Well, the thing is, Yaya's complaints are legitimate, really. Now, if the fashion is that coaches and captains should vote, probably he would have stood a better chance to win it. The way FIFA will do it before Ballon d'Or came on board was that coaches and captains, coaches and players represented by their captains will vote. With the Ballon d'Or, you have a situation where coaches, captains, and then some journalists will vote. And so you have a wider spectrum of voters, of votes to be cast for the best player to be selected. We thought that CAF should also follow that pattern. There's been some inconsistency in the way these things go. You say it's an individual award, then you tie it again at some point to the Nations Cup. Now, I remember there was a year when JJ Okocha, everybody thought that JJ Okocha was going to win it, maybe in 1998. But then Nigeria didn't attend the Nigeria performed well at the World Cup, really, with JJ Okocha as the cynosure of all eyes. He didn't win it, but that was given to El Haji, it was given to Mustafa Haji. This time, Yaya Toure won the Nations Cup, and you are giving it to who? You're giving it to Aubameyang, who did not achieve anything at the Nations Cup. So it's really a lot of question about what exactly are the criteria for picking the best African player if all the time you have to change the rule, because when George Weah was going to win it, well, what did Liberia play at the Nations Cup when he won it? It was just on individual brilliance and club performance.
Indeed, Solomon. Plenty of questions surrounding that award on Thursday in Abuja, but perhaps we will see whether those two players enjoy a better 2016, and maybe it will be more clear next year. That was Solomon Ajuziogo, a sports analyst joining us live from Lagos, Nigeria. Moving on, Azzedine Ait Judy believes he can help Moroccan club Mouloudia Oujda achieve the glory of years gone by. The Algerian joined the club in June 2015 for a second stint after previously coaching them in 2004, but the Algerian league winner has had mixed fortunes upon his return, with the club currently sitting in 9th position in the Moroccan Pro League.
Mouloudia Oujda is searching for its lost glory. The Moroccan Pro League club last won a major domestic title in 1975. The man tasked with finding that title-winning form again is Algerian Azzedine Ait Judy, who coached the club for a year in 2004. The 48-year-old, who has 2 decades of club coaching experience across North Africa, signed a 3-year contract in June last year.
I hope to win the league or the cup in Morocco like I have done in Algeria, where I've won the league 3 times. That makes me work harder to strengthen MCO. We appreciate that the Oujda people remember the glory years past and reminisce on how good the club was. Today's management needs to build the club in order to ensure they begin winning titles after very many barren years.
Azzedine is a good coach. He knows what he is doing. In the 6 months that we have worked together, he has showed us a lot. In Morocco, it's easy to rush for foreign, non-Arab coaches. We will see what happens by the end of the season.
Fatih Terim, the Turkey head coach, inspired me. He worked hard to develop clubs as well as the national team in Turkey. I was influenced also by the European coaches, such as Guz Hiddink. I like his style and training. As a player in Algeria's JS Kabylie, my coach encouraged me a lot. All these experiences enhanced my ambitions to be a coach.
Judy will be banking on that experience to propel Mouloudia Oujda to the top of Morocco's domestic football scene. Celestine Carone, CCTV.
You're watching MatchPoint. It's time for us to take a short break. Here's what's still to come. Organizers announced the route for this year's Tour of Spain.
He's a speedster and he's very solid indeed.
It's David Rudisha, 1:40.91 is shown on the clock.
Welcome back. Now, following the success of last year's edition, the route for the 2016 Tour of Spain was announced on Saturday, looking to replicate that success. Last year, Italian Fabio Aru pushed early leader Tom Dumoulin all the way through the race and finally claimed success on the penultimate day for his first Grand Tour victory. The 2015 race, which also passed through Andorra, was seen by many as one of the best in recent years due to the ongoing competition that went down to the wire. For the 2016 edition, the race will begin in the Galicia region of Spain before passing through the Basque region in the early stages. The Queen stage, seen as the most challenging, will be the 195-kilometer 14th stage that runs through France, finishing in Obisque.
We were inspired by last year's stage in Andorra. This stage will be longer, with much less hills to climb. We want to ride through the Pyrenees, and in that sense, with the ASO being a French company, this makes it much easier to organize a stage at the Obisque. At the last end of the race, especially when the final victory will be decided, it is the Queen stage, and I think everyone will really enjoy it.
Well, staying in Spain, the country has for long attracted some of the best footballing talent from Africa. The likes of Yaya Toure, Samuel Eto'o and Seydou Keita have all made their mark in La Liga over the years. That list looks set to continue. CCTV's Dan Williams recently caught up with one youngster who hopes to follow in those footsteps.
Few may have heard of the name of Ibrahim Diallo, even in his home country of Mali. But that could soon be about to change. The 19-year-old centre-back signed for Spanish side Valencia last year, and he made his first full-team debut in the Spanish Cup competition, the Copa del Rey, in December.
I knew that I wanted to come to Spain, but I wasn't sure which team. So I finally joined Valencia, and it's a big opportunity for me to play in the La Liga. My debut was a very special day for me. It was the first time that I played with Valencia in the Copa del Rey. It was a very special day for me.
Ce jour-là, c'était fantastique, c'était un jour spécial pour moi.
Diallo hopes his performances at club level will eventually lead to an international call-up with Mali. He feels he is improving thanks to the coaching he is receiving in Spain. And he believes that European clubs would benefit by signing young African players.
Oui, en Afrique, il y a beaucoup de jeunes talentueux en Afrique.
In Africa, there's a lot of young talent. It is not easy there, so you come to Europe and to Spain, and you have the chance to show off your skills and to show that there's very good players in Africa too. It's an opportunity.
Longer term, Diallo hopes to follow in the footsteps of another Mali player. Seydou Keita won the lot with Barcelona, and his exploits continue to inspire.
Every morning that I wake up, I think of him, and I think to myself, even if it's not easy, I have to get to his level or even higher. When he came here with his team Roma recently, I had the opportunity to talk to him, and we discussed some things. He gave me some advice. He's an example for us, the youth, not only for Mali, but also for all the African people.
Un exemple pour nous les jeunes, pas seulement maliens, pour nous les jeunes africains.
Diallo still faces a long road ahead in order to achieve his goals, but he's positive he's on the right path. Dan Williams, CCTV, Valencia.
Well, finally, as we mentioned earlier, this week, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was named CAF African Footballer of the Year, winning his first title and becoming the first Gabonese player to do so. The CAF Award was first given out in 1994, but the competition has been held for many years before that, dating back to 1970 when it was called the France Football Magazine Award. For our MatchPoint Top 5 segment this week, we take a look at the 5 African players who have won the award the highest number of times, starting at number 5. Starting off our countdown at 5th is former Chelsea striker Didier Drogba. The Ivorian forward has come 3rd on 3 occasions and 2nd on 4. Yet he was crowned Best African Player twice, first in 2006 in only his 2nd season at Chelsea and again in 2009. And number 4 is Ghana's Abedi Pele. The man who is often considered one of Africa's best players of all time enjoyed a golden vein in form, winning the continental honors for 3 years in a row between 1991 and 1993. Then playing for French club side Marseille, he put on a memorable display at the 1992 Africa Cup of Nations and sits at 4th on our list. Yet another African great comes in at 3rd on the list of African Footballer of the Year winners. This time it's George Weah, the Liberian forward who incidentally is also the only African player to have ever won the FIFA World Player of the Year award. Weah came 2nd on 4 occasions but won the African title thrice in 1989, 1994 and 1995, the same year he was named the world's best. The man who narrowly lost out to Aubameyang in this year's competition is 2nd on our list. Côte d'Ivoire's Yaya Touré is one of the continent's greatest players of recent years, highlighted by the 4 years in a row that he won the CAF Award. The Manchester City midfielder won it between 2011 and 2014 and was denied a record straight 5th for his first second-place finish. And the player who has won the Continental Award the highest number of times is none other than Samuel Eto'o. Having finished 3rd and 2nd on 2 separate occasions, the Cameroonian first claimed the award in 2003, the same year that his club Mallorca won the Copa del Rey. He then moved to Barcelona, where he won the 2004 and 2005 awards, before winning his 4th in 2010 when Inter Milan won the treble, making him the first player to win the treble in consecutive seasons. Well, that's it for this edition of MatchPoint. Remember, you can send your feedback to us, matchpoint@cctv.com. That's our email address. You can also visit our Facebook page and leave a comment, CCTV Africa, or stay in touch with us on Twitter. The handle, as always, is CCTV News Africa. Thanks for watching. I'm Mahia Mutua. We leave you with this week's move of the week, which comes from Porto's 1-1 draw against Sporting Lisbon. It's Hector Herrera's goal to hand Porto the lead in the first half.